fans of the pedals without color. That's why I'm wearing pinky purple stuff and turquoise bluish things, because you have to bring in some color. Also, Go Top, this is Blanche Tonfuchs. She's my baby. You can order one at Tonfuchs Guitars, something DE, who gives a crap. Yeah, they find the man. The point is, black pedals are apparently what Chris Jupiter does. And he's been telling me about the Katastrofe. You have to say it like this, because every single time he says it, it's a Katastrophe. He can't say, die Katastrophe. You have to say Katastrophe, which apparently focusing in on it when you're sitting up there in the control booth, having to focus on the pedal. Leslie said, das ist eine Katastrophe, da kann man überhaupt gar nicht drauf fokussieren. Meaning, you can't focus on it because things are blurry printed on it. So how the fuck do you focus on a pedal like that? Well, you don't, and you say it's a catastrophe to focus on the catastrophe. Haha, wordplay. Anyway, that's what it looks like. Now, Chris could have made a small pedal. He could have made a pedal that's literally 6 knobs like this, half size, doesn't eat up a lot of pedal board space. But no, it wouldn't be fucking Chris if he did that, wouldn't it? No, it's gotta make it twice as big and huge, call it a catastrophe or Katastrophe. And write on it, Sludgefest Dominator. And when he did, I guarantee you, when he did write that, when he came up with it, he was like, Sludgefest Dominator. Yeah, people are gonna buy this and they're gonna like blow up things, they're gonna be loud and make noise and... Yes. And I'll show you how to do that. But he finally made a pedal that doesn't have to make ridiculous noise. It can actually create great overdrives and distortions. But of course, Chris tells you, no, don't do that. Send it into already blown up amps. Fine. That's his thing. That's his world. And again, he could have made it half the size, but then he didn't, because he decided, let's put a big ass knob on it to distinguish it from other pedals. And let's give it an octave thing. Why? I don't know. It can do really cool things with it. It makes it unique because it's an octave, not fuzz. It's an octave distortion. What do we have? We have bass, treble, and presence, volume, gain, and low cut. And the low cut already tells you this is a pedal to go into already drivey, gainy amps, to tame the low end to be more responsive and tight, which is literally what you do with the Tube Screamer. So maybe see this like a Tube Screamer on steroids. Well, wouldn't that just be a catastrophe? Sludgefest Dominator. I played it into a clean amp. I played it for quite a while into the Tone King Sky King, as we will in this video. And I called up Chris and said, where's the domination and where's the Sludgefest? He's like, you used a clean amp, didn't you? I'm like, yeah. He's like, no. You got to go into like a JCM. As we will. But in case you don't want to dominate the Sludgefest and you just want a really cool, unique distortion pedal, Katastrofe is the first one from Jupiter where I don't hear fuzz. Unless you do what he instructs you to do. Which is actually also, I think, start with volume all the way up already. Look, the guy needs a lobotomy. Fine. But he's such a nice guy. Hey. And he's actually working on manuals. Isn't that cool? So, fuck your ears with 9-volt only. As we will. And you can see top-loaded ins and outs and a beautiful chassis-mounted 9-volt. That's the way it should be on any boutique pedal. And I call this a boutique pedal because it is built in Germany by Germans with lots of black tattoos. I think if you show up there with a like flower or something on your shoulder and it's got actual color in it, you don't get the job. I think that's one of the prerequisites working at Jupiter FX. Black or nothing. Yeah, we're gonna go into the Tone King Sky King, which sounds like so. With the P90s. Let's do all the things Chris wouldn't do. gotta be careful with the treble. It has quite a bit of it. I think the low cut is active when you dial it in. It is, however, relatively subtle. So let's lead a bit with it. Chris said the octave sounds really good on, arpeggiated chords. I don't hear this because for me, that's a single note thing. Otherwise, the harmonics really interfere. But remember, that's a guy who thinks differently than I do, which is totally fine. He likes noise, dissonance, chaos. I like controllability. So, doesn't mean we can't be friends. Overbends. Friends over bends. See, I tried to musically rhyme there. And you mix in, or whatever, with the big knob, the octave. Neat. And you can also turn that off. So we already breached forward into a little bit more gain territory. responsive distortion. I like it. Or high gain overdrive, whatever you want to call it. It does that really well. Let's crank up the gain all the way. And with a clean amp. Doesn't ultra compress. So the sustain. So the sustain is real. It's, you know, it doesn't add anything. There we go. I don't know what else we should show. EQ, okay, fine, why not? That's the wrong side. Can I use that by itself? I don't know. No, you cannot. Hey, it's all about having fucking fun. So, EQ. Make sure I'm tuned here, these strings are. Why not go to... Not sure how much that presence does, really. We're gonna go into drivey amps. RedSeven Duality 100. Sounds like so. It's still manageable. I mean, now we've got noise, obviously, but it's still manageable and it's still clear, even though I'm pushing quite a bit of overdrivey gain into something that's already kind of overdrivey gainy. That's why that's the metal thing, because that's how you turn the Katastrofe off. We figured it out. It wasn't Dio or that Kiss guy, Simmons. The octave thing to me works beautiful up here for leads. I'm pretty sure Chris plays it down here for rhythms because he likes the gnarliness, and gnarly it is. Let's try it with a humbucker guitar. Also has no strings. This is the metaliest of the metals that I have in the room. It is the Mayones John Brown DeVille signature wingy neck, swamp ash body. It's got purple heart. I think that's what. Can never think of the wood. Why? We're moving on. I mean, should we go into the Hamstead? Well, I mean, we can. Hamstead Artist 60. That's not a rocky amp. Maybe that's not the combination we're looking for. Let's go straight into the Morgan MVP 66, which is, of course, a JTM type of amp. Is that the right kind of amp? Probably not. If you're looking for a sludge-fast domination with a Katastrope. It's all power amp distortion and stuff like that. That's impressive, how that amp all of a sudden becomes brutal, gets all the gain, but retains the clarity. And I didn't even do the low cut. It has the gain, and you would feel that when you push it into an amp that's already doing this, that all of a sudden chaos ensues. And I know that's what Chris wants, but it doesn't. It's controllable. It just actually gives me that amp in domination mode. We're gonna go into the Mini Plexi by the Marshall up there. And that's where we need the low cut. That amp can't handle the Katastrope. It can't handle it. It's like, no, not that much. It's the power amp. Everything is kind of going, going in the knees, as we say in German. Let's see the Morgan AC20, which is Voxish. not shabby. Are you gonna, go to a Sludgefest domination regatta? That's the thing that happens. People sail boats and do Sludgefest-y doom music on regatta boats. I don't know, Sludgefest regatta. And use a Vox? Likely not. What are you gonna use? You might use a JCM800, which sounds like so. This is where it's at home. I know Chris just got a JCM800 and he clearly, voiced it for that type of amp. So in the RedSeven, that behaves like this with a really big low end, big 100-watt transformers. In the JCM behaves like this. A smaller amp like the Mini Plexi with its 20 watts just can't handle that kind of massiveness. So yeah. That is the combination. So you have to know what kind of amp you're using. Also, I think in the Morgan, in the MVP 66, it was really good. Let's do the crazy thing and take a gain that has an amp. Take an amp that has gain, like the Rockerverb 50, that's already lean in the bass anyway. But let's pump it into that orange. Okay, blow it up, Leslie. Because it's a Katastrope. I don't know. I love the words. Sludgefest Dominator. Chris, you're freaking insane. So it is rather impressive in the sense that, first of all, as an overdrive / distortion in front of a clean amp, I think it works well. It doesn't super compress, so for leads, you're once in a while looking for a little bit more sustain. If your amp is at the edge of breakup, it's enough. And then that octave up for the leads is really cool to get those Satriani lines and that stuff. But, of course, Chris wasn't thinking of this. He was probably thinking of the low riffing, where it's just creating an insane amount of chaotic, crazy noise that's just horrible. But it's two different approaches to the same pedal. And I think he created something that in my world works really well, and in his world works really well in a completely different way. Now, what I find extremely impressive, that when you hit the right amp, that already has quite a bit of gain, and you think that much gain, because, I mean, I had the volume up quite a bit, I had the gain up quite a bit, and I think hitting an amp like the JCM, like the RedSeven, or especially the Rockerverb that's already quite a bit cranked up in terms of gain, I would think what happens is noise central mayhem notes. I can't play anymore because of all the noise. I have to make sure I'm muting and palm muting way more. None of that happens. the sound stays as responsive, it stays as clean, the note separation stays as defined. There's just a lot more gain, and it's not too much gain. So I don't know how that is achieved. It most certainly does something unique when you're hitting the right amp. When you're hitting the wrong amp, it's and again, you might want that. So you had all the information. I can't give you more than that. Chris asked me to make this video, and even more so, he's paying me to make this video. And you can't pay me to like a pedal, but I like the Katastrophe. It's a little bit big, if you ask me, to be on a, I mean, I would like the Katastrophe without the octave up, but the octave up's kind of cool. I really like those sounds. Does it need to be so big? Like, I mean, because really, I want that setting, no knob, and move this over here and give me the Katastrophe as a small, normal-sized overdrive pedal. Not sure about the presence and how much of that I need. I don't know if that's really necessary to be there, but likely it is there because he was hitting amps where he needed it. There was also about inside. Let me find our chat. So inside our trim pods, you can actually mix in your clean if you want that. So going into the JCM, some people like to do that and just fatten it up, gain it up, but then you're still hitting it with a certain percentage of your clean signal. And you can also change the gain depending on the guitar you're using. So the gain is a little bit malleable, as they say. I'll put links below to Chris's website. You can buy his stuff, I think, directly from him or through Reverb. It's a great company. They're great people with all black tattoos. I think, what do I know? Haven't seen any of them, like, all the way, if you know what I mean. I don't know. This is a really cool thing. And as all of his pedals, utterly fucking unique. So if you want something nobody else is doing, JPTR FX is your one-stop shop for nightmarish sounds in black pedals. No, this is really cool. It is. What is the thing at the end? Animals at the end.
It's times like these that show us what we're all about. And will you please be strong enough to sit this out? I'll see you on the other side. There's kisses and rainbows for everyone. The time will come, but not tonight. It's why we have to stay 6 feet apart. We're gonna come together. We hold all the cards. We only have to play them right. So do your part, and everything will be alright. It might be hard.